welcome. Thanks so much for being with us on this Wednesday, February 2nd, Groundhog's Day.
It is. We'll be talking plenty about that this morning, but welcome back.
Thank you. Barely made it back. We were spending some time in the Dominican and a lot of flights canceled.
Weather issues, but glad you made it back. Hello to you all.
15 minutes past the hour right now. This morning, the Army is telling people to go home. Ben Wiedemann is live from Cairo, Egypt this morning with more on that. All right, also new this morning, the TSA is testing new software that makes those controversial in American morning. Could Florida's Turnpike soon become the Disney Turnpike? The new era of innovation as states try to close those budget gaps and come up with creative ways to make money. And America's out of the unrest in Egypt. Anti-government protests have been going on for 9 days now. Egypt's military is calling for an end to the demonstrations, saying their message has been heard. President Hosni Mubarak is stepping down, but not until a successor is elected in September. Imad Shaheen is an associate professor of religion, conflict, and peace building at Notre Dame. He's also taught at American University in Cairo and joins us this morning from Washington. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
What is your reaction to Mubarak's statement last night saying that he wanted to be there for the transition, so that he was not going to be seeking re-election, but he's not immediately leaving either? Mayor Bloomberg. This is pretty funny. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. Right now, we've been told by Punxsutawney Phil, at least with his 39% accuracy rate, that spring's just around the corner. Meantime, we're dealing with this massive winter storm. It's been... And good morning. Thanks so much for being with us today. It is Thursday. It's February 3rd. I'm Kiran Chetry.
And hello to you all. I'm TJ Holmes. Things changed in Egypt yesterday, and it was a night of bloodshed and violence.
And so there's just a snippet of what it was like for reporters there. It was also a very violent, more than 600 people injured, some 4 at least confirmed killed in that. And this is interesting. Egyptian's prime minister actually apologized for what happened, saying this is a fatal error. And when investigations reveal who is behind this crime and who allowed it to happen, I promise they'll be held accountable and will be punished for what they did. That was regarding the attacks on the protesters yesterday. Well, it's certainly been a stunning 24 hours in Cairo. Arwa Damon joins us live on the phone now from the Egyptian capital. And Arwa, we saw this yesterday. We were reporting on this live as it was happening. The military, by all accounts, just standing by and watching the clash. A lot of people still trying to get out and get to where they were trying to go because of all of these flight cancellations. A lot of air travelers spent an uncomfortable night at Chicago's major airports. Airlines nationwide canceling more than 6,000 flights. That was yesterday alone. More than 14,000 canceled for the week. Rob Marciano joins us live at 24 minutes past the hour now. A lot of the violent images we've been seeing in Cairo's Liberation Square were actually playing out directly in front of the Egyptian Museum. And this museum contains priceless artifacts, many of them thousands.
Good morning to you.
Hi.
Is the country itself, Egypt, is it fair to say the whole country is pretty much a museum?
Yes, it's a vast outdoor museum.
Of the museum areas there, and he said everything's okay except this one museum in Cairo, the one that we've seen the pictures of, where the looting took place. And he also said that the 70 artifacts damaged can be put back together. Is that painting too rosy of a picture of what's going on there?
It's certainly not true at all.
We have been seeing it from Tahrir Square, and we hear so many journalists referring to, yeah, you see the museum there, and then to the left, this and that. We hear this museum all the time. What exactly is in that museum? What are some of the treasures in the museum that's really at the epicenter of all this fighting?
The Egyptian Museum...
Was that not protected? How could it be so easy to get in there and smash through a case and grab one of these priceless artifacts?
Well, it's an older museum. The building...
What took place is just a wake-up call, and that this will cease to happen, and they'll get more serious about protecting these areas.
Right.
Dr. Bob Breyer, I know this is a tough time for you. I mean, this is what you do. This is your passion. I hope that things get better there. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Breyer.
Well, it's 27 minutes past the hour. The State Department warning Americans leave Egypt immediately. It is 6:30 here in New York. We have some breaking news in Egypt right now and the entire Middle East. We're getting reports from Reuters this morning that a Hezbollah militant reportedly escaped from prison. He was convicted of plotting terror attacks against Egypt. He was sentenced, in fact, last April to 15 years in prison. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah had previously confirmed that the militant was part of a cell that was trying to smuggle weapons through Egypt to the Gaza Strip. But again, this happened over the weekend. Prison break, and now confirmation that a Hezbollah militant who was actually convicted of plotting terror attacks is among those who escaped. We'll continue to follow breaking news on that and get more information for you as we get it. Meanwhile, bullets flying again this morning. Soldiers and good morning to you once again. Thanks for being with us on this Thursday. It's February 3rd. On This American Morning, I'm Kiran Chetry.
And hello to you all. I'm TJ Holmes. Things changed in Egypt yesterday. History continues to unfold after a night when, quote, all hell broke.
Well, a man-made money machine. It's what nearly brought the world to the brink of financial collapse. And in his latest book, best-selling author Michael Lewis, who's written on a number of subjects, including sports like The Blind Side, walks the reader through the inner workings of Wall Street. Joining us right now is Michael Lewis, a former investment in the wake of our financial crisis in 2008. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to ask you, as we're watching all of these developments unfold in Egypt right now, and Dow futures are up today. They held a little bit, but what type of ripple effect or impact, if any, does unrest in yet another country in the Middle East have on our financial markets?
You know, not great.
It was heralded that Egypt had this peace agreement with Israel. We pay them a lot of money. In fact, we give them the second largest amount of aid besides Israel because we have a huge interest in keeping the peace there. What happens if this unravels?
Well, we have great political interest.
People sit at home, they scratch their heads. I mean, we have the Dow now over 12,000 for the first time since the summer of 2008. I mean, remember being at 6,500, and, you know, people who were coming to retirement or had retired living on a fixed income. I mean, it's been a nightmare. I mean, all of their wealth is just gone, or a good portion of it. And then you still have high unemployment, and yet over on Wall Street, you're still, you know, talking about things going well. You're hearing about individual investment bankers who are bringing home $5 billion, and people on Main Street say, "How is this?" I thought that the whole reason we sat back and supported the bailout and everything else was so that this wouldn't happen again. That it had to come with some strings attached.
Well, I'll tell you how it is.